Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 12th episode of ABC, where we talk everything art, business, and culture. Now, today on this episode, we have somebody very special, somebody who doesn't know, but this person is my personal mentor, even though this is the first time I sit down with you, Khotmani.
Sure.
Otherwise, we're sitting with my commander,
Morning.
my president.
Morning.
To be honest, you are a leader, Khotman,
I
and
appreciate
thank
that.
you very much
Yeah.
for being here today.
I appreciate that with everything. Thank you very much.
Like-
it's only an honor to be here.
Wow. Before we start this conversation, I really appreciate the fact that even though you didn't know how many subscribers I have, I just fetch you a strategy. Man, I have a
Yeah.
podcast. Can I sit down with you and pick your brain? And
Sure.
on the spot, you were like, no problem, let's do it. Like
Yeah.
you were not like, you
Let me
understand?
tell you why. Let me tell you why we do that. Because some of us lead in real life, you see.
Mm.
We don't lead on Twitter.
Wow.
We don't lead on Facebook at all. So we're not virtual leaders. We're real-time leaders.
Word.
So if there's a problem in the hood, it's like we're community leaders. We lead real people in real time. We don't lead Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts and
Influencers.
and influencers and when you have data, you might just come across my leadership.
Wow.
Bro, when you wake up, I'm leading you. When you're sleeping, I'm leading you. Because rapatrola jumpers when you were sleeping to make sure that you're safe, right? And when you wake up, you see me as well. And if there's a problem in the hood, we're the first people to hit the scene. So
Wow.
we lead real communities, real people, real issues. And that's why for me, you might think it's a small thing, but it's a big thing for me when you say, please come to my podcast. I don't care how many people have subscribed to your podcast because those people are not in our community. I care for the community. So if my community is my immediate community, everybody knows you, right? Who doesn't know you here? So for me, you're a big deal.
Wow.
That's big enough. I don't care for the next extended person that you might not even see. What if all those subscribers are all just robot accounts, fake accounts? Because that's how we live right now, right? We can push narratives on Twitter. I can right now say that Cyril Ramaphosa is a thug who shadi highest and push all my robot accounts to go hit it. That's how all the political parties vibe these days. It's not real opinions, it's robot opinions that are sponsored with a few millions.
Wow.
But let's see what the people really think. Go to the people in the hood. So I mean, I mess with you because everybody messes with you in the hood.
Wow.
And that's easy. And that's why I was like, no problem, let's do it.
Oh, that's such a privilege to be in this
Sure.
position. But Khotmani, a lot of people that play in the community space in a way, or community development, most of the time they get into community development in order to reap the benefits of it. Like obviously get into politics,
Sure.
maybe tender sinyana, but I don't get a sense of that from you.
Yeah.
Why are you not navigating towards benefiting from the
Sure.
position you are in?
Yeah.
Maybe let me just ask you that.
Yeah, because I'm not a politician, you see. Politicians, for me, the first step to being a politician is you need to subscribe to a political party. And real talk, in black communities or maybe even just any community in South Africa, you'd have to subscribe to Action SA, EFF, ANC, DA. And then once you've got the membership, then you can start navigating your way through the top ranks of politics through the political party. So when you look at us, we don't do that. We don't vibe with politics. And when you vibe with politics, that's when you chase the tenders. Because if ANC is in power, then and you're an ANC comrade, then you shout out to all your other ANC comrades and say that what we do here. And then because the culture of look, I need all the young people to understand, the culture of politics is literally wrapped around corruption. Because it's natural that corruption is at the center of politics, because if anything that is member based, it prioritizes its members. So if Unale span, I must give first priority to my members. So if ANC is in power, it must give priority to its members. If Orlando Pirates has 500 scholarships to give away, and what will Orlando Pirates do? It will go to its branches and say, Orlando Pirates East Rand, Orlando Pirates Soweto, Orlando Pirates, listen, the sponsorship for your kids to go to school, and it all comes from you guys attending stadium. So we took a little bit of the money to create a budget. So naturally it makes sense. But when you look at it, you're like, oh, because Natamala Fever Chiefs. But if I reason from an academic point of view, I'm like, I'm the strongest. I've got the best reports in the hood. But look at all the Pirates supporters with their kids. They're on E's and F's, but they're going to university because their dad supports pirates. Does that even make sense? So flip it back to politics. It'll always be the culture of politics to serve its members. But us in community leadership, we serve the community, not membership. So whether you're pirates or chiefs, if your house burns, we step in the fire to take the fire out. Whether you EFF or you are ANC and you're getting mugged and you hear someone shouting, we don't say, who's making that noise? EFF. They born. We go in first and we taka the bullet for our community members. So that's the fundamental difference between community leaders and political leaders. So people must never ever confuse that. Political leaders check first. Subscription ring. I told it tender. I told it. Told ANC pay or I told it EFF pay ANC. And that's why you even see in Parliament, bro, that if you look at any community, black, white, Indian, or colored community, if you look at the top two problems of all our communities, let's talk about the community that we belong to. It's a predominantly black community. What's the biggest problem here? The biggest problem is Nyaope. The biggest problem, let's also call it electricity. And you can tell me another one. Let's say top three. Another big problem is family houses. People die and kill each other for family houses. There's people in prison who are there because of Nebalonelati family house. Once Makoko died, so it's a big problem in black communities.
Damn.
It's a big problem.
Unspoken.
But have you ever heard those problems being discussed in Parliament? No. The electricity issue is only being discussed now in Parliament because load shedding affects Bosentini and where the politicians live. Do you know how many people who are from Spruitview, from Togoza, from Soweto, who grew up here and started getting into politics and left every problem in the hood to go live in established communities? Bryanston, Hyde Park, I can name them. Why do they leave here? Why do you leave the hood? How many do you know members of parliament down Alimafu? You're like, this guy came to this house, why? And they tell, no, he actually grew up here. Really? He's a member of parliament, or he's a member of this department or that department. But they never seen in the hood. Our kids in the hood will never see blue lights. The only time they see blue lights is when police come to arrest someone. That's why we hate police in the hood. But the kids in other affluent areas, they'll actually love the blue lights because it could be a member of parliament going to work. We don't see no member of parliament being taken by blue lights to parliament. And that's why we as young people in Soweto came up with a formula to change the game, because the game is rigged. We can't have it continue. Politics is nonsense. Hear it from me first. You said this is a young people's podcast, so I can speak your young language.
Yes.
So politics is fucked up. That's what it is. Politics is designed. So politics is a system designed to further to continue the capture of systems that capture you. Education system, banking system, I can go on, bro. So if you really want real change, make sure that you change your family, you change your community, and if you want to play at the top, change the system. You just have to change the system. And how we figured how we're going to change the system is that we're going to take power from the politicians, because we can't complain about corruption every single year. That means we are the mad ones. What's the definition of insanity? Not my opinion. What's the definition? Repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a difference. And that's what we've been doing. The same cry that you and I have, our parents had, our siblings had, our brothers had, our girlfriends had, your ex had the same thing, your current girl, your future girl will be complaining about the same thing, and no one is doing anything.
Everything.
Your kids will be doing the same thing. So if it's up to me, I'd actually prefer for my kids not to even know one struggle song. Because if I'm teaching them struggle songs, then I'm saying that it's normal to struggle. So they can, for me, I don't want them to know any struggle song. Damn. I want them to know about NASA, the latest NASA program to go to space. Because kids our age, look, someone your age right now is not concerned about not having electricity, or not having, or having a community filled with nyaope. Nyaope is a drug, for those who don't know, because we now have to accommodate the international market, because we're messing with the internet, right? So we can't just only speak our local terms and definitions. So let me just say drugs. Our communities are drug infested, and we can't, and that's a focus right now, because every day, since this podcast has started, there's someone introduced to drugs. You know that? Damn. In a black community in South Africa.
Damn.
It's disgusting.
It's too much.
Sure.
You know, Hotman, the more you talk, I get a sense of confidence from you. And in Twin Shayang, a lot is that your confidence is very consistent.
Sure.
Ever since I've known you, same energy, same mission, same drive. So I kind of get that sense of if everybody could be like Ntlantla Lux, or if maybe 60% of men in the hood could be like Ntlantla Lux, we could be heading towards somewhere.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about individuality. How do we get to that 1%, or how do we get to that point where we at the top so that we can drive change in a way?
Sure.
So before we started this podcast, I told you that my focus is basically to talk about the mind,
Sure.
the body,
Yeah.
and then the brand, and then the bank, which is money, and then your bonds, which is relationships. So I think you said we should start it with the body first and not the mind first. So
Sure.
please walk me through
Yeah.
your body and how you've crafted your body throughout all these years in
Sure.
order for you to be here and be
Sure.
competent.
So those who know me, bro, will tell you that, and it's unfair for me to say these things because it's not easy, you know. But I'm lucky. I mean, I'm lucky because I've never had an era where I'm a drinker. Like, I really don't know what being drunk really feels like. I really don't know. Like, I do not know. That's why probably I'm always where I need to be in terms of my physical ability. And I have a big sporting background. The schools I went to gave me the biggest sporting opportunities that I took advantage of. That's why my when it comes to physical training, my knowledge is above the average person. The training that I did even after school, the training that I had to do in terms of tactical competence and just being who I am. I'm not, like I was saying earlier, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not concerned with being a big guy. You know, because it's not functional to be a big guy. It's not. You'll never jump. If someone comes in your house and stabs your mother at night and rapes your sister, and then you walk in and you're a big guy and you bench press 200. and then this guy managed to escape the house and jump Tangana, but jumps that wall and that wall and that wall. It's just a matter of time before you get tired. So everything that I invested in terms of physical training and ability is functional. It needs to complement my real life. And my real life involves carrying a big rifle and carrying a few weapons and guns and running tactical training and defending communities and defending my people. Imagine if a lot of people know us Maponya Mall, right? So imagine I was just a big guy there. That means I'm stationed there. I can't chase people. I'm just stationed there. Yeah. So look at what Maponya Mall did. It took about 5 days of sleeping 1 hour in between.
Damn.
So if I still had a big weight to carry, I'd be in a serious problem. You know, one of the best militaries underrated in the world happens to be Chinese military. Do you see big guys there? But do you know that they amongst the best with precision? The best with precision. Look at when special force comes through of any country. I know the special force, like Siakara, the president has been taken hostage. Tell me those guys that come down in helicopter ropes and buildings and start.
Not like,
do you think they are
Batista.
big guys? As well, Batista. Only Hollywood lies to people and brings out steering Batista. So those things are not practical, bro. We live in real life. You know, and I don't need to remind and tell you. Every South African young person knows that our life is real. It's not a virtual Twitter, Facebook life. It's a real life, you know. So when we get shot in real life. It's not shots fired on Twitter. Because anybody can survive shots fired on Twitter. I've seen the weakest nigga surviving 20 shots being fired on Twitter. Come join us on the ground in real life. One shot is enough. We'll bury you. Yeah, because it's a real shot, a real bullet, leaving a real gun, getting into a real body, and penetrating a real heart, and we really bury you for real.
Damn, Hotman, I hate the fact that you have a great background in sports, and from a very young age you've been concerned about your body, and you've never drank. The reason I hate that is because I myself, trying to reach the potential that you have, feel like never.
No, it's reachable, and it comes with age. Look, to be honest with you, I'm young. I'm younger than most people who have the public platforms for expression. but I'm not young in real life. You're much younger. There's much younger people, and in a natural order of things, you study lions. They actually pass down the baton to the youngins early. It's only human beings that are disgusting. I promise you. You look at anything in nature, because you've got the natural energy levels to perform at a higher rate, and you've got the natural ability. Right now, you see, you're unfit. Right now, you're not as fit as you're supposed to be. But if I can just push you, you could probably run to Soweto. You'll just get there completely like screwed. You'll have to sleep. But which old person can I push to run to Soweto? We'll get there. We must bury them. Bah, sure. Papa order, like yeah, that's what it is. You know. So it's never too late for anyone. Look, anyone in their teens, right? Anyone in their 20s, anyone in their 30s, anyone in their mid below 40s. You still have the stars lining for you. You still have the universe conspiring in your favor in terms of physical ability. Like, don't take that for granted. There's a lot you can do with your body. You can transform your body in no time.
Damn.
Like you could have 6 weeks of wearing baggy clothes and put on a vest after 6 weeks, and people like, hey, what happened there? Like, and no supplements, no nothing.
What?
Pure. I can take you for a 6-week course, and your body will come back like you can't believe.
Damn.
But I promise you one thing: you'll not come back bigger. But I'm going to bring you back fitter, stronger, leaner, solid.
Damn.
And even a dog will look at you like, I can't back with that nigga. Like, I can't. Whatever when people mug people, they have to do a serious SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
Like they have to measure strength, weaknesses, and what's my opportunity? Nobody just says, human walking, mark time. The guys don't do that. Like, you need to be muggable.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Your respect.
Yeah, that you need to be
Damn.
muggable. So, how many niggas in the hood would come to my housebreaking, knowing that I'm in the house sleeping? But it's a reality. Do you know that people get into people's houses knowing that they are there?
What?
No, but that's real. How many people have complained, but they took everything. I don't know what they burned and I was sleeping. No, but that's the reality in South Africa.
My friend has told me that and then he had to chase them, and then he called me and then he was like, I'm in your move.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, but that's the reality. But the guys don't just get in the house for fun, and they don't just say, oh, this is a nice pink house with nice paint and nice car. Let's get in this house. They know who's in that house. Sure. But I don't think there's too many people that can come into my house.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm definitely going to a court case in a few weeks after burying you. Definitely.
Definitely. And confidence is competent. You can't be confident.
Yeah, otherwise it's just hot air. Damn. I think in this time we are able to display confidence because we've displayed competence. It mustn't come. Your confidence mustn't come before the competence. You must display. You must display some ability and show us you can do it. And that's, like I was saying, that's a fundamental difference between us and politicians. They talk about it, we do it. Where were all your politicians when we protected Maponya Mon?
They was watching the news.
Yeah, the ones CNN.
Yeah,
Leama bulletproof. And they're like, comrade, deploy the robots on Twitter to discredit him. Because but that's what it is.
Wow.
So let's go back. Look, the body for me is a low-hanging fruit when it comes to changing your life, because a lot of people listening can argue, but it all starts in the mind. It all starts in the mind, you know? Yeah, it definitely does start in the mind. But I'm saying that when it's time for action, show me how do you action out developing your mind? I can see when your body is strong because you can give me 100 push-ups, no problem. I mean, Penrell and I did push-ups on social media for people to see. That wasn't actually a competition of Ntlantla Lux push-ups versus Penrell push-ups. It was actually motivating people to say that, come, your body, change your body. Because, I mean, if I start saying change your mind, not even you know what I'm talking about. Like, okay, not even just change your mind, develop your mind. Because that's a very complicated agenda with serious dynamic. Because I first need to understand what's your background for me to develop your mind. But I don't care what's your body background.
Yeah.
I just need to know that maybe I'm also just saying it easy. I just need to know a few of your injuries. You've got a leg injury, so that I can know what exercise not to do with you. You've got this injury, yes. But the mind is similar, but it's more deeper. Like I'll need to know your mental scars. I need to know so that I can actually develop your mind.
Wow.
If you look at people in the military, the first step in the military is to strip you down of absolutely everything and rebuild you to a gorilla and a real monster that we need you to be. So the mind is, hey guys, the mind is tough. It's not an easy muscle to develop, because the mind is somewhat connected to the environment as well. So for me, when they say that Lux, please come talk to this kid, I don't go there with the aim to change or develop the kid's mind. I go there with the aim to change the kid's environment and develop the environment, because the mind will follow. Because the environment is always the master of the mind. If you chill with niggas if you chill with guys that rob banks, your knowledge around robbing banks is going to be amazing. It's just a matter of time. So you see, the mind is so, it's not like you need to go call a brain surgeon to come and deal with the mind. You just need to make sure that you're in the right environment that's suitable for your mindset.
Because it picks up everything.
Look, it picks up absolutely everything. If you want to be a soccer player, chill with soccer players. You'll see. Even when Pirates has trials, you're going to know before the world does, because you're chilling with soccer players.
It's not said enough. That thing, you're going to chill with people you want to be.
Yeah, it's that simple. And then you're going to just like Papama 10 years later on CNN being asked about soccer, and you're an expert, and you're like, when did I get here?
You're relaxing.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Sure.
Like, you just pass.
And someone says to you, Esanpana, I pulled my bicep is sore, and I think I must rest my bicep. And maybe you like, no, you must actually rest your tricep, because muscles work like it's an antagonistic thing. Like for this muscle to feel pain, you need so once, and all this knowledge, think about it, all this knowledge, you know it because of the environment you are in. And people will say, you must go to school for knowledge. Let me tell you what that is. It's just a trip of you leaving your home, going to an environment of knowledge so that you can come back home. So knowledge is not only in a university. Okay, what university did thugs go to for them to rob FNB, Standard Bank, Nedbank, all the big institutions?
Just Professor Asekasi.
Oh, come on.
Damn, man, that's for real. Yo.
So for me, the body is the easiest, is the best journey to start with, because what you're also doing, you are then creating an environment here for your mind. You see?
Damn.
Yeah, and then you, from after strengthening this environment for your mind, then you strengthen this environment for both your body and mind. And that's how I function. I'm not telling you things I read on textbooks. I'm telling you things that work in real life. You see?
Before we move into the mind and other areas, how do you work out? When you work out clearly,
freehand like this. Because in real life, I walk around freehand. Yeah, well, I generally don't like attacking, because I can even defend myself and you hurt yourself in me defending myself. Like you can hurt yourself. Like I don't need to hurt you. Like, yeah, I don't need to hurt you at all. But again, the dynamics differ. I mean, if you're a big guy, I'm not about to get close to you, because if you're going to tire me out, because you're just a big guy, and not because you're a Superman, simply because it's mass. It's like even if you take just weight, forget the human, and make me carry 100 kilograms of anything for 2 minutes, I'm going to get tired. So I don't want your weight on me anyway. You see, so it depends. But most of the day, we all operate freehand. So I'd want to gym and exercise in a way that complements my daily life. And if there's something that comes, I need to deal with it freehand. Because if you overly invested in the gun or in the knife, then what when you don't have it? That means the gun is bigger than your balls. The knife is bigger than your balls. You can wake me up at 3 a.m. and attack me. I'd like to see that. I'd really like to see that. You see? So uchor if unja ya weapon. or kapanosiske, aswarakan, and okay, because we're not sipilekan.
It's
Yeah. So I gym freehand big time because the body develops faster and there's less injury. Actually, there's no injury freehand. There's no injury. I've never experienced anyone getting injured from carrying their own weight. A lot of bodybuilders get injured every season. They're getting injured.
So you don't do any weights.
I don't do any weights. I mean, I'll play around and if I got here and you guys were on weights and I take weight that is reasonable and I push it. I don't like adding weight to get big. It's not functional. Men need to understand they must be functional animals. You see, you must be functional. If people come here with guns shooting, I'm going to be that down because you see we had a double story house now. I'll be down there, no injury, next dom tangana, and I'll probably come back in this house while they are looking for me there. Dilaka wana from the back. But if you're not in a functional form, you can't do those things. You see. And for me, it's just to save your life and others more than anything.
I therefore not too much on the freehand, but I know there's people who are like the exercise. It's a push up.
Yeah, look, push up, pull up, a lot of you know, like this morning I did 8 rounds of boxing. I love boxing because boxing is a really physically demanding sport, mentally demanding sport, even spiritually demanding sport. So it's like for me, it's sport across all sports. Like boxers, you must respect boxers. Try box for 3 minutes non-stop. All right? And then come back and take 60 seconds break and come back and box another 3 minutes and do that for 12 rounds. So this morning we did eight rounds and I ran on the spot for the remaining rounds. So try run on the spot. Okay? Run like medium pace, 50%, half sprint, meaning it's a half full sprint. For 4 rounds, I want to see something. You see, yeah, but you need to push yourself that way, and that's it. So for young people, and this is also practical because it doesn't need you to pay for any gym. You don't need to go to Virgin Active to do 100 push-ups in the morning when you wake up and do another 100 when you sleep. You don't need to join Virgin Active for you to do sit-ups, for you to do squats, freehand squats, prisoner squats. Prisoner squats is just, prisoners generally, the hands behind your back when they search you and cuff you.
Yeah.
So it's called prisoner squats because you're in this position. And then you go down. You squat 100 times. Your legs are solid. And then you run on the spot for as long as...
How do you run on the spot?
Run on the spot, same spot. It's not easy, guys. Trust me, it's not easy.
You're not moving forward.
You're trying not to go to the side because and to the back and forward. You're running on the spot. So it's also a mental thing now. It's a focused thing now.
Wow.
And you're getting tired, but you still have to keep the spot. So for me, those things are important. It's dynamic training. And running on the spot, doing your squats, doing your crunches, your ab exercises, doing your lunges, doing push-ups. And push-ups alone is not one exercise. So you can do your open push-ups, your mid push-ups, your what people like to call diamond close push-ups. And it's hectic. Yeah, look, I actually, maybe we must do it. Let's do freehand exercise versus bodybuilders on camera, and let's dump it and see what the world has to say. Give me your biggest guy in the hood. Bring him right here. Let's go. Push-ups. Let's see if he'll do 100 push-ups now and sprint to go save his mom from being mugged and sprint back to go help the community with something and sprint back.
A lot of people opt out when we're talking about fitness and gymming. It's like, hey man, I just want to talk about the priority of that.
Before we leave those who opt out, let's talk about what young people enjoy talking about outside their parents' proximity of hearing and listening.
Yeah.
So let's talk about sex. Do you know a fit guy has the best sex? Tell me about the partying, around their 30 seconds. Around their 30 seconds. I'm talking about, maybe women must tell you now.
Yeah.
Maybe women must do a survey.
And I think it's a proxy value to be able to like be confident in bed and know that you have competence.
Yeah.
Because majority of things, guys subconsciously do it for women.
Majority is society is that way, unfortunately. But yeah.
But then imagine if you have all the money, you've worked all your life, you've been working, but then now you're in your prime, but you're not like fed in a way, and you're not having fun in that area of life.
Let me tell you, all those people who don't take care of themselves physically, when they are old, that catches up. They're not happy. They're not happy. You must even listen. If you must just look, just find peace and look. Look at a guy in their 50s, in their 60s, right? Look at them with their women. Look at them with their kids. The guy that's fit has a happier life. Generally, I mean, before adding spice to anything. Because if I'm 60 and my boy does rugby, I can go watch him play rugby. Some people are not even fit enough just to go watch. We are stadium. Stadium. That's so boring. You are like one of the most boring dads in the world. Do you see what I mean? When we go to school and there's the parents' race, my boy will be like, yeah, so these fancy schools have parents race. And sometimes, like us in the community, forget the fancy schools. Like we had Soweto Olympics. We can just think of something crazy, like we're having a fundraising something, and everybody above the age of 40 or 50 is going to be running. Not my family will be like, who wants to bet? Let's go. We know who's winning, type of thing. Be that guy, man. Be the guy that's able to do things. You don't need to be like a celebrity, no. Just be able to do things with your body, with yourself, and be able to do things for others too. Because right now, in the position that I'm in, I can save my life and save yours. People, there's two responses to any dangerous situation. It's fight or flight. Some people, and majority of the world, flight. But it's not because they are cowards. It's because their system and their soul and deep in their spirit, they know that I can't stand this thing. Like even your own kids get left behind.
What?
So if you are in a physically able position and mentally able position to save yourself, you are then taking a first step to even saving others, because you can't save the next person if you can't save yourself.
That's so
you become an asset to your family, to your community, to your workplace, to everywhere.
Damn. You spoke something about that your family is able. So the question that comes to my mind is the fact that we all know that a lot of black families are broken. And there's like
pieces.
An outcast to see, maybe you are the one who maybe went to Geleza at town. You got exposed to good families, and you're like, my family is definitely not dope. Do you think in that position you need to try to better your family, or spend the time to better yourself first, and then
let's go deep in the history of me being what you just describing, saying that because I was exposed to better schools. And do you know why I was exposed to better schools?
I think I assume.
Yeah, because those people we think are not better invested in us going to better environments. So you see that it took them.
Wow.
So I'm not the special one. Who's really the special one here? No, let's be honest. Who's really the special one here?
Also took the effort.
Yeah.
To put you there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I told you, for you to actually like, for you to be anything, it really had 50% to do with you and 50% to do with your environment. So I was born in Soweto, grew up in Soweto. So how did that environment in Soweto get me into a school like St. David's? Think about it. The school didn't come and find me. We met each other halfway.
Damn.
Do you see what I mean? And when I got to St. David's, I was a badass kid. I held it down. Damn. I wasn't a dead weight that the school has to carry like.
What type of mindset did you have otherwise for you to maneuver until now, Joe?
So we all have assets in our lives, but we don't see them and know them. Let me tell you. So I ended up. A lot of people know that I'm actually a golfer and a professional one at that.
Wow.
I've served on the highest golfing body on the land is PGA, and professionally is the Sunshine Tour. I'm recognized by both. You walk in there, you ask them Ntlantla Lux, yeah, we know who you talk about. And they even, some of them will say, this golf policy was done by him.
Policy.
Yeah.
Wow.
You talk about a guy that owned a golf course. I owned a golf course in my
Ew.
time. I was 22 when I did that.
Ew.
I'm telling you, and you think you're still young. You still think you're
Yeah, I
young.
should be a granddad with kids, 8
I
year
was
farms.
I was 20 years when I owned the driving range.
Wow.
So you see, there's that natural progress to my life to say I owned a driving range. People came and play, and then when there was an opportunity for me, I maximized on the opportunities and my networks, and I was able to own a golf course. But where did my golf journey start? My mom's brother was a caddy. Came back drunk every day. But instead of me seeing the drunk guy, I saw that the golf club, most people say golf stick. I saw the golf stick and his ability to take up all. And guess what? The first time I interacted with the golf club and a golf ball was from that drunk guy. So do you see what my environment did for me?
Damn.
So that skill transferred to me, plus who I am, managed to fast forward 20 years later own a golf course. I wouldn't have interest in a golf course if I didn't get that skill at that age.
Damn.
I knew how to chip. The first thing I knew what to do with the golf club was to chip, because that's what he taught me at home. So he was one of those drunk uncles who was mean with cutting the lawn cascade. So our lawn was like mint the whole time. So
wow.
So he had a passion of golf because that's where his income came from as a caddy. So I mean, my spare time, I'm with him. He's chipping on the grass and he's showing me how to chip.
Wow.
So even today, my strongest part of the game is chipping.
Yeah.
I didn't go to any institution for that. I got it in my environment.
And if you were someone else, that golf course, the Spanish surveyor to cap other kids or
Yeah,
something.
but with that golf course, I introduced more than 100 people to golf. So me being part of their environment made them golfers. Soweto is in the whole continent. We produce most golfers because we're amongst the only township with a golf course that is mint condition. So the environment has a golf course, it will produce golfers. The environment has rugby fields, it will produce rugby players. The environment has drug dealers, it will produce drug addicts.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That's
so environment is key, bro.
Your environment
is the master of the mindset.
Everything.
Sure, it's everything.
So
that's why I can give you a story. Do you know Sun City?
Sun City, the prison?
No, you see.
Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest, like the real Sun City. Not Dragon. Yeah. So Sun City was built by legends. And if you look at the guys that built Sun City, without taking too much away from what you say, I'm just diverting a bit. They didn't come from well-off families. You know that. They had to leave and go panda in a different environment so that they can be a better person, and they came back for their families. And anyone wants to argue with me regarding this information, in a different time outside your podcast, I will take them to these families because I know these families. They mustn't come here and tell me what they read on the internet.
So what I'm getting is that they had to go out of their environment.
The environment, because the environment wouldn't. Yeah,
wow.
Bro. If you want to listen, if you want to be, the next guy to go to the moon for space exploration, you can't do it in Soweto. We don't have any NASA program. You have to leave our environment and go to wherever NASA programs are. And then we'll just say, he's our niggas from the hood. But no hard feelings. We can't give you what you want for your life. You see what I mean? Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Environment is everything.
It is totally everything. You know, one thing I've picked up from us conversating is that you had a major time collapse in your life. Like the things you've achieved, you needed to achieve them probably when you were like 40. What contributed to that time collapse in a way?
Look, I did all the things I could, because when what people do in their 20s, I couldn't do. And not because I was deprived. It's because I was trapped in the matrix. Now when I papam at like age 32, like what's everyone else my age doing? Some of them are recovering drug addicts. Some of my guys are recovering alcohol addicts. Some of them were big time alcoholics. I wasn't in an environment that gave me an opportunity to drink alcohol. I was caught up in a sports environment. My Saturdays, my mind, I was excited. Saturday, is it Saturday today? Big game. Because I was always in the A team or maybe senior leagues, first team type of thing. So like, I'm a sports guy. Saturday is my sports day. I never had, even now, I'm sure people look at me with the little coin that I have, I could wear original Louis Vuitton. I don't own none of that nonsense. Because I don't have an inferiority complex. I'm not that guy that say, oh, now I've got coin, I can go buy because in my no. So I'm that guy that grew up in a tracksuit. My school tracksuit was my weekend wear.
Wow.
Because I wake up in the morning, I pack my sports bag, and I put on my sports tracksuit, and I go to school to go play sports. And afterwards, from St. David's, Komba Josie North Soweto, and I arrived there. Sports ended at like 5? It's like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
So I'm chilling with my cousins. I'm still in my sports gear. And sometimes you watch movies, whatever's on TV, SABC 1 at the time, and then I'm passing out because I just had a hectic day of sports. And I'm sleeping in my sports gear. Because I didn't come from a family where we say good night. We just were too much. So whoever sleeps must sleep. Good night, there. Yeah, like if you're with my room, like it's what it is, you know. It's not like I've got a special bed where I must say it's good night, my gown on, and I would
bedtime story.
Do you know, even to date, I don't have pajamas.
Wow.
Because it's not a thing. Like, I didn't grow up with pajamas. So for me, it's not important. I'm not going to go into a shop and buy pajamas, and because it's uncomfortable. I remember actually a few years ago, I got pajamas as a birthday gift. I didn't know what to do with them. Because I even I don't even know what happened to those pajamas today, because I don't wear pajamas.
Wow.
Like, I sleep in a skipper. So skippers are like shayli for the dag. I fit splash at jumpers. I'm a real guy, like a real talk. Some guys will pretend they bath every night before they go to bed. Bro, I'm still conditioned the way I grew up. Like,
wow.
If this is me, I'll sleep this way. I only bath in the morning when I have to go somewhere. And that thing is not every day. Sometimes I just wipe my face and we go back in. And like, that's just what it is.
To smell after like 4 days.
Yeah, like when we are operators. So, like, sometimes I wipe my face, not even my armpits. I wipe my face and get on with the day. And then I find myself addressing ministers. I'm like, if all these guys knew that I didn't even take a bath today, but I'm the one commanding this meeting, they better realize and know what it is. You know, and come back to the hood and just. So when people say, I couldn't go to the job interview because there was load shedding, I'm like, you wanker. You're a wanker. You are mad. Because some of us in real life, whether there's hot water or not, we operate. Like, if I get a call right now to go to the minister of whatever because we are discussing something important for the community, I'm not about to say I can't go because the call came in late. I'll go now like this in tracksuits. So for me, the guys have been soft these days, man.
Wow, this is, you know, what you just spoke about as I think it's a tip for parents that have kids, in terms of, because a lot of parents want to craft their kids or help them to become something. So what I'm getting from you is that your parents did the main things, but they didn't do everything. It was not like you were like an egg. Let's read him a bedtime story. They did what they could.
Look, bedtime story. My mom has never read me that thing. Like, I don't even know it. I don't know it. But I'm not saying it's bad. Some kids must be read bedtime stories. We're not all the same. But parents messed kids up. The more you try to protect the kid, is the more you're messing the kid's future up.
Wow.
Let the kid fall. Let the kid get in the car by themselves. Let the kid cry, and you don't even have a reaction until they keep quiet. And they themselves realize it's not important to cry. Let me get on with this. Like, I do that with kids around me. If your kid is around me, and you're too sensitive, you probably never want your kid around me. Or if you leave your kids with my kids, if you leave your kids with my kids or any of my family kids, you're gonna come back, your kids will be doing push-ups. Washing the car. So my house is a dishwasher.
Wow.
But if you open, it's still brand new. And I had it for more than 3 years now. It's
Eh,
still brand new. Like, I remember we tried it and we're like, it's actually easier just to like, I don't know why we even bought this,
It's a mission.
It's a mission because
Ah, but it's okay,
so naturally, because of who we are, we've never used the damn dishwasher.
damn.
It's there, but we've never used it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Super crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but I think we're gonna have to cut the conversation short. But just in closing, I just wanna ask for to talk about the last things in closing. Number one, probably relationships, because when a guy is on a journey to better themselves,
Yeah.
obviously there's troubles,
Sure.
and the problem is that in our families, Otoluguti, you can't find advice from your families because they haven't been in the journey that you're in. So
Sure.
you find yourself separating from them in a way. So what's your advice in terms of relationships and maintaining relationships when you are in the struggle of bettering yourself in a way?
So I think relationships are not special. Generally, when we young people speak of relationships, you talk about me and my girlfriend. That's what you mean, relationships?
And family. Actually. Yeah.
So you're talking about the true sense of relationship.
Yeah,
Even we have a relationship.
Yeah.
You're talking about that.
Yes.
So for me, family, actually relationships are the vibrating part of your environment. So it goes back to creating an environment that suits you. I've got cousins that I loved with all my heart growing up. People that I thought in my life only death would separate us. I'm talking family, geez. Like some of them are guys, because I'm talking about guys that we slept on the kitchen floor with and we moved to the dining room with. And then they started working, started going to schools, and we're tight. But they slipped and started being drug users, They started using drugs. And I had to take a decision that as much as I love you, you can't be part of my environment because it's not conducive for the person I need to become, because I know what I need to become. And I can't have people who've got an itchy hand stealing my phone because I'm expecting a really important call. That's how my phone operates. Because an important call is not from a minister, by the way. A gogo could be living alone because when you mofos start being better here in the hood, you go rent an apartment in better communities, and you leave your grannies with us. So maybe a granny could have my number and say, Ntlantla, I can see people jumping my wall. I don't know what to do. And that's an important call because that could be the reason why Gogo's going to live another day, because she made that call and I responded. I got there. She could have been raped. She could have been killed. She could have been... So for me, any important call. So I can't have a cousin of mine chilling and waiting for me so that they can swipe my phone for a quick fix. To hell with that. I can't, even if it's my mom. If my mom was on drugs, I'd get her help far. I'm not going to fall for that trap. This life thing is too short. Wow. Her biggest job was to bring me here and do the best she could. And in the midst of her efforts of doing the best for me, she slipped and she started using drugs. That's her story. That's where our story ends. Wow. Until she can come back into being an asset in my environment and I can return the favor so we can all move on. Because the devil or negative energy or forces, dark forces operate that way. If they can't get to you, they'll get to the people that you love so that you can go down with them. I'm not going down. I don't care who's going down. I'm not going down. As long as I know that I'm not the one that's taking you down, and I'll put my hand out, reach out, and I can pull you up if you can reach for it, but I'm not coming to you because it's quicksand. I'm not going down. And if you can't reach for my hand, I'm sorry, man. There's nothing I can do. We want to just have a memorial for you.
Damn. Yeah. Talk about just that.
Guys need to be hard, dog. You guys are too soft these days. Like, you need to be hard. You need to look at your pops in the eye and say that, Pops, that you did the best you can. But right now, the man I'm becoming, you play no role because I can't keep watching you slapping around my mom all the time. The next time you touch my mom, I'm going to fuck you up. Yeah. But guys don't even have the balls to protect their own mothers. What was the community and the world and your own kids? Do you understand what I mean? Look at your mom and say, hey, another time I saw. That thing is over. Maybe when I was a kid. Right now, no more. Or otherwise, I'm leaving. You guys can stick in your toxic environment because this environment is not for me. It's not for me. So if you can't do that with your own family, forget the hood, forget the community, forget the world. You're going to be consumed by the world. You're going to be at the bottom of the food chain in the whole community.
Damn.
Because when the time comes for you to say to your G's, no boy, this habli that's been laced with what, I'm not smoking it. There'll be girls there with mini skirts, hot as ever, and we're playing 30 seconds, and you can see that this habli is being mixed wrong. You don't have the balls to say that about it. No, you're just gonna say skiff, and then next thing you know you're on drugs. The next thing you know you're on drugs because you didn't have the balls to say kaka habli Just because you with Lux, you're going to where Lux is chilling, and people are smoking habli, and there you are saying skiff. Do you wanna skiff? And like, yeah. Lux, yeah, sure, skiff. You're not even asking, what's this? Because you don't have enough balls. Why? Because you're not conditioned even from your home. You can't even tell your cousins to F off nicely. Not that you must be a rude human being, but there's some things you must not tolerate in your space.
Damn.
So that you can go on.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have good intentions. I wouldn't say they're trying to be like you, but then you pose like a template, if I can be like this hot man. But we know, as if you're trying to be a community development worker in a way, there's that element of you need to take from your resources and give the community. Like, I love the fact that you are waiting for that call from Makoko. It's not like when Makoko calls you like, oh,
Sure.
I feel a sense of you are willing to give effortlessly and unlimited.
Sure.
So what is your mindset in terms of you giving to the community and you not having a limit?
It's 50% my history, my background, my experience, because like I was telling you, man, I come from an era where people had to rob banks for us to go to school, for our school fees to be paid. I'm not saying my own family, my dad and his G's. So I've seen people really die in real life so that for me, because I want to spin la rona ngostabona. So what was me answering a call from a Gogo? I'm not going to die from that call. I know people who have died for us. Do you understand? Leave my family alone. You've got Hector Peterson that you guys read about on at school. You can type Hector Peterson. You know what happened to Hector. He was carried 1976. He died as a teenager because he was marching to liberate the country. Hector died for us. You scared of taking a call from damn Makoko. So you don't see life the same way. So for me, I'm fortunate that my own eyes saw people literally do things for me and others. And I still think today 90% of the things I do are nothing compared to what people have done for me. And this is in the hood.
Wow.
Sure.
Your perspective is dope. But Hotman, we have to close it with two last questions. I hope that we're gonna have another day food to see shy food. But I'm so interested to know more about Soweto Parliament. So just a brief discussion about how Soweto Parliament is structured, and two, the most important question: how can people who love Soweto Parliament and want to be involved, how can they get involved?
Yeah. So Soweto Parliament is not political. So we lead everyone in Soweto. So Soweto is a township with a population bigger than countries. Lesotho's population doesn't come close to Soweto's population. Swaziland's population doesn't come close to Soweto's population. Botswana's population doesn't come close to Soweto's population. Namibia's population doesn't come close to. Do you see? I can go on. So when someone like me being the president of Soweto Parliament, a very shallow mind will say that is a president of a township. But in actual fact, we're actually a president of an entire country that's not yet defined as a damn country. Because our GDP, our economy, our population is far greater than most countries. If Soweto pulls out of South Africa will take a big knock. So for us, we then had to remind ourselves of who we are. If you think of the history of Soweto, anything that is political, anything that liberates the country has to, at some point, touch Soweto if it doesn't come from it. Nelson Mandela's house, where is it? Don't tell me it's from Eastern Cape. Where is his house? Yeah, he had to leave the Eastern Cape and come to Soweto for things to happen, right? Wow. Do you think he would have been Nelson Mandela just sitting in Eastern Cape? No hating of any other location, you see?
I was not thinking about that.
Tell me all the hardest niggas you know. And I'll tell you that they've been in Soweto, and I'll tell you how.
Jacob Zuma.
Come on. Zuma operated as much as his stronghold is
Natal.
Natal. I can show you how he operated in his prime, not now with nonsense politics, in real activism in their time. He operated with real niggas from Soweto. Real niggas from Soweto. And that's why the first democratic president, they had to be led by that guy, Nelson Mandela. Kgalema Motlanthe followed. He's from Soweto. Mama Winnie. Yeah, you can go on. You can even leave politics and go into entertainment.
Yeah.
Look, if a song pops from another province and it doesn't make it big in places like Soweto, Kukuleto, or Dikasitedi, it doesn't pop big time in national. But if a song or Style South Jaiva pops from Soweto or any other township for that matter, it's guaranteed to be big in across the country.
That's extremely true.
Bo Atama Fukate, you can go for it. You can go tell me the two biggest teams in the country.
Kaizer Chiefs.
Where are they from? Yeah, and this is not a quiz now. This is real life. I'm just telling you what it is. It's unfortunate. It's just what it is. So Soweto Parliament is a platform and institution that leads everyone. It's not a membership-based institution. You can't say that I've got membership of Soweto Parliament. Soweto Parliament, all the industry leaders, community leaders, so the heads of taxi industries, the heads of hostels and donors, you can go even in business, the head of Maponya Mall, all the big businesses, so everything, and even in politics, even those, all the political leaders, they all come under one assembly called Soweto Parliament. Wow. And we go through real community issues and say that how do we solve this independently? How do we move? What direction do we take independently? So we don't let anything. So Soweto Parliament is literally the unity, the home for everybody in Soweto for real. Not just saying it because we can. For real. If you go to the hostels, they'll tell you that no, Soweto Parliament. If you go to the kids playing soccer, it's a sports thing, Soweto Parliament. So Soweto Parliament is something that is a platform we created to unite our people, because we knew that how are people moving? We are all moving and operating as islands. And that's why we'll never ever collaborate and come to operating on one vibration at one level and achieving the same goals, So Soweto Parliament gives our people the opportunity to literally be on the same page. And that's what makes us magical, because we unify our people. Wow. And that's why the politicians will be full of hate, because you are then commanding millions of people, literally. Some political parties been around for a long time. They don't have 1 million members. But if you take after me as the president of Soweto, in a heartbeat, you are leading millions of people. When you say West, everybody's West. When you say East, everybody's East.
This is a revolution.
Sure. And that's why, look, without being political, that's why a political party can say we are shutting down the country. And I say not in Soweto. And it doesn't happen in Soweto. That's why every mall will get looted. I said not in Soweto. It doesn't happen in Soweto. Wow. Because it's not me talking. I'm talking on behalf of millions of people. When I say all of you come out, we at the mall, making sure no one is touching the mall. 2 seconds, we are all there. Taxis are blocking everyone, because it's everyone taking the instruction from one command. Simple. Commander money.
Yo, Commander, it's just for the sake of batteries and everything. I would love to have another episode just talking about the new model that we would like to present in terms, like, as the youth, seeing that things are not going the way we want them to go in our country. So I would love just a dedicated episode just on that, and then obviously touch more on Soweto Parliament, the ins and outs of it, and how one can take an advantage on the opportunities that are present in Soweto Parliament in a way. But for today, thank you very much.
Yeah, but let's give them like a 30-second insight of the next episode. So when you speak about the community model that we come up with, we are saying that we are tired of being led by politicians and political parties. We are then saying that in the next elections, we are registering our own community to be on the ballot sheet. We are then saying our people must vote for the community, so that the community must go to parliament, not politicians go to parliament, because it will be refreshing for people we know in our community to sit in parliament and say that we are now going to speak about the real problems of our people in real communities, and speak about the Nyaope situation, and speak about family house problems, and speak about electricity in the hood, and the the crimes in the hood. So it's similar to it's direct representation of people. But now, if you are part of the ANC or EFF or DA or Action SA, when you go into parliament, it's because you are deployed by your political party. So whatever you say and do in parliament must be within the interest of your political party, because you are there to serve them. You are not there to serve the people of this country. So you're politicking when you're in parliament. So with what we are doing of pushing communities to rise and reject politics and politicians and represent themselves and get enough votes to get into parliament as a community, you'll then get seats in parliament that represent your community. So you're not politicking when you get there. You are not going to be singing, pay back the money, pay back the money. You watch parliament,
now.
you're like,
it's like stand-up
bro,
comedy,
my top five problems, my biggest problem, the biggest problem in the community is never discussed in that parliament. So, but they discuss anything that's to do with them, because for them, somebody has to be honest and tell them straight. If you are scared of telling them, or anybody listening is scared of telling them, I'll do it on your behalf for you and myself and everybody else that's listening. You join politics because the game is simple. You're going to be profiting from people's problems. If you're profiting from people's problems, it's not within your interest to solve those problems. Your best bet is to continue the problems so that you can continue your profit.
Damn.
We'll talk about it next episode.
Actually, I wanted to ask a question. Last one in Jay. If that's the case, the community needs to be the representative.
Sure.
Obviously, that goes against a lot of people. A lot of people are profiting from that not happening.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna ensure?
Do you know how much these political parties are making in municipalities? Forget provinces and national municipalities. Hundreds of millions. That's why they fight and want to make sure that let's go into this coalition government and as soon as, how many mayors has the city of Johannesburg had in this coalition nonsense agreement? They change them like this. They change them like you change underwear. Because as soon as they schema each other, they come and do a coalition government. They say, you give me Department of Transport, because they know the tenders of transport are going to them. Okay, you take Department of all those tenders are going to you. They are not there to develop and change the country. They are there for the budgets of departments. So that's why. Okay, I'll take MMC. You take this. You take that. And then they just check. Okay, if they give me education, what's in education? Oh, there's about 200 million budget of education. Have you seen any school improve?
Next.
Tell me now, watching this in any township, which school have you seen improve? But every damn year, every damn political cycle, there are budgets. There are budgets. There are billions of rands in budget that must be spent to develop communities, countries, schools, industries, departments. What's the fundamental difference that you see? Look, we are at a double story now. Here's the hood. What is the fundamental difference that you see in the hood? Across these houses, there's a soccer field. That soccer field has been like that since my dad was a kid. We are amongst the first people to arrive here in this community. The Kona Dladlada. One of the oldest businesses, the business that I have in the township, right? The one that my dad used to run. If you ask your parents what business is older than that business, they'll probably answer you in 3 days after thinking hard. That's probably one of the oldest businesses in the hood. I can tell you, the ground we're taken care by Makesta. So the business, my business, used to take care of these grounds for the longest time. So when he passed away, did you see the difference? Is there a team playing? Are the teams playing religiously there?
No.
Y2K is a team that was sponsored by my business. And Bumatala on Sundays, they would play. What does that mean? The community, the elderly people can play soccer in the community. The young people can use it during the week when they're not using it.
Wow.
And even on Saturdays when after their game, the young people would play. But right now, when you go to that field, half the field is gone. Gone. What do you do with it? So where's Department of Sports to take care of sports facilities in your township? But there are budgets. Where are those budgets? By the spina. They are there to profit from your poverty. They are there to profit from our people's pain. So their job is not to stop the pain or the poverty, so that they can continue the profiting for them and their kids. All their kids go to private schools. The guy that's in charge, or the woman that's in charge of schools, and Mama Njimusecha, have a sit down with her. Ask her, how much is your budget? as the Minister of Education, how much is your budget? Okay, sharp. Let's go down. What does this budget do? Where does it go? I don't know, 20% goes to Eastern Cape, 20% goes to Gauteng, 20%. Let's follow the 20% to Gauteng. Right. We are now in Gauteng. Where's the 20% of the billions of dollars? Listen, they won't take your interviews. Go to these ministers. They won't take your interviews. Number one, you're not card-carrying member of their political party because they serve the interest of their political party members. I told you when the interview started.
This is problematic.
Yeah, but no, I'm not scared of them, and it's not even about a fear game. But they can do what the hell they want. I'm out here to be honest and tell you the truth as it is. And if it's hlakana strating, no problem. I hlakana strating. Khale hlakana strating. Khale hlakana strating. So they can do what they want. Every politician is out here for their pocket and their kids, nothing else. Tell me right now, the Minister of Education, you can go back a few ministers so that we don't seem like we are taking Mama in Jim Tech. All their kids go to private schools, but they're leading. They've got billions of rands budgets.
They don't relate
for
with
public
our problems
schools.
in a way.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it next episode, Papa.
Damn. Otherwise,
Sure.
just to close it down, this was ABC with Hotman and Ntlantla Lux. Otherwise, this was a very informative conversation. And selfishly, I've learned a lot, and I'm hoping to learn as much as I can from you every time I interact with you. From us.
Wonder Monday.
Yo. And this was